Grand Rising, and welcome to Early Bird Tea with your girl Rachel Listens, and I'm here to deliver your motivation devotional. Welcome. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for me. Today we are on the last day of me and my big mouth. Me and my big mouth. We talked about a lot of different things in this devotional, and I hope this motivates you to go back and look into the other things that we have discussed. And today's title for our devotional is Remember, Surrender, and Confess. Remember, surrender, and confess. By now, we can probably agree that our mouths can get us in trouble. The problem is we can't live without them. We can't decide to never speak again. So what do? According to the Apostle Paul, we can remember, surrender, and confess. When you remember, you acknowledge that you are a powerful person because your words have tremendous force. Every time you open your mouth, especially when you're angry, frustrated, or wound up, you have the ability to do harm. At any moment, your potential for good and your potential for evil are unlimited. Once you remember, you have to surrender. This is an invitation to surrender your mouth and your words to your Father in heaven. The Apostle Paul, when he wrote a letter to Christians living in Rome in the first century, said that Christians are to offer all the part of their bodies as living sacrifices to God. Finally, we have to confess when we mess up, and we know from the book of James that we're going to mess up. This isn't an if, this is a when. Remember, your tongue can be tamed. You manage it, you guard it, and when you mess up and those words come out, you immediately confess. Don't explain, don't make excuses. Own the fires you have begun with your words. The good news is that we have the power to avoid the consequences of an untamed tongue if we choose to take Paul's wisdom to heart and surrender this powerful tool to God. I have an affirmation, not really an affirmation, just a note that I like to constantly remind myself. The first one that just came to mind before the other one is you don't fix wrong with wrong. You don't fix wrong with wrong. And it says justifying your wrongs is just wrong. So that's number one. Number two is always apologize for mistakes that you have done, regardless if they were intentional or unintentional. It is always healthy to go back and say sorry, regardless of whether it's been too long, whether you're over it, whether you've overcome it, whether you are living in it or not. It's always good to go back and apologize to whoever you've hurt. I try my best to always live in a place where I'm humble enough and have enough humility to go back and apologize for when I've said something wrong, when I've hurt someone, even if I might not feel like an apology is necessary because everything that I said is true. I still go back and apologize anyway because I don't want to be in the world, and especially as we live in a world that already has so much pain and so much hurt and so much trauma. I don't want to add to that trauma. I don't want to add to the pain. I don't want to add to the things that people already feel that are bringing them down. My goal in life is to decrease that, to fix that, to break generational curses. And we do that by being humble enough to apologize and go to people and say, I am sorry. I'm sorry for the way that what I said made you feel. And stop there. If you have anything more to say it at a different time. But you don't say sorry and then validate your wrongs in the same sentence. You can revisit the conversation, revisit the topic. Let your apology be an apology, not a this is why I said it or whatever. That's making up excuses for what you've said, and it's not validating the other person's pain. It's not validating that other person's trauma. It's not validating anything that is taking place in that person's life that could have been caused by something that came out of your mouth. The recommended reading for today is Romans 12:1 and 2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. He is the only one perfect, living in perfection. He deserves all your glory, all your worship. And we don't worship Him by bringing other people down. We worship Him. We worship Him by leading by example and bringing people up with us. And tap into His understanding. And we do that by setting that example that we want to see in the world. When someone is disrespectful to you, you want them to apologize. So you have to also be willing to apologize to others when you are disrespectful, and so on and so forth. So I thank you for walking through this journey with me. I thank you for showing up for yourself. And I know God is upstairs and grateful for the fact that you showed up for yourself in this moment, in this opportunity. And I come on here every day and I give you an opportunity to show up for God and show up for yourself and show up for me. And I'm grateful and I appreciate your presence. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow and see what God has to speak to us through in the next journey, in the next devotional that we will be walking through together. If there's any topics or things that you're struggling with, feel free to drop a recommendation on what you want to hear me talk about, what you want us to go into communication together with. This is a conversation. This is not a lecture. This is not a preaching. This is not correction of your ways. This is a conversation. So it's open. The floor is open. The comment box is open. Come through. Say what you want to hear. Say what you're struggling with. And we will walk through it together, because you never know. I might be struggling with the same things that you are struggling with. So as always, it will be unfair not to share, because you know people need to hear this. You know people need these extra rays into their lifestyle, that extra ray of sunshine, that extra ray of light. So allow rays in your lifestyle to come in and find a place and create peace and create space for God and create space for more love and more peace and more joy. And you deserve it. You deserve this moment. You deserve these words. You deserve this inspiration. And I thank you again for showing up for yourself. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed, beautiful day, my lovelies. Toodles.